Ever since I was younger, I was into video games.
Somebody like the Fuse so I can bring bad news to all these crews who can't NBA jam with the shoe.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another beer review. Another beer review from Civil Society. Is this collaboration? It is. Civil Society in collaboration with Twisted Trunk Brewing Company, Tequesta Brewing Company, and Copperpoint Brewing Company. These all have to be Florida breweries. I'm not sure. Civil Society is Jupiter, Florida. This is called IRMA. And the can, this is cool. It says, working together to help our community. All proceeds benefit Hurricane Irma relief efforts in Florida. So that's super cool they're doing this. We have more in common than which would divide us. Rad. That is really, really cool. It says everything right on the label. 6.7% alcohol by volume. It is an IPA and it is brewed with Idaho 7, Ricau, Mosaic, and Amarillo hops. I'm not too familiar with Ricau hops. Idaho 7 hops, I feel like Modern Times has been brewing with a lot lately. There's no date on this can. I think it's a couple weeks old. This comes from my man Ralph again. Thank you so much, sir. We just reviewed Fresh, which was cool. And now we're going to check out IRMA. Fresh was 6.2%. This one's 6.7%. So let's do it. I love me some Mosaic. I love Amarillo. I'm not 100% familiar with Idaho 7 and Ricau. This one looks a little darker as I'm pouring it, but who knows? There's a big fluffy head on that. Oh, this is actually more, I mean, it's hazy. It might be a chill haze, but this is much more West Coast style. Can you guys see my finger through that? See how that's moving? It's not completely opaque. This actually looks really, really cool. I've been drinking a lot more West Coast style beers lately, so it's kind of nice to see just holding up to the light. There's not a whole lot of carbonation in this. There's a nice like fluffy head on it, but there's not a lot of bubbles in the glass. But it's like just a glowing kind of a straw color. It does. It looks darker on camera. I can just see that from looking down, but it does. It looks like a killer. This almost looks like it. You know what this looks like and reminds me of? This reminds me of an Alchemist beer. I remember when everyone said those beers were really hazy, but if you pour like a heady topper into a glass these days, it kind of looks like this. So there you go. Let's go ahead and smell this one. I'm excited. This one's dank too. It's like green, herbaceous. It's herbal. This smells good. I mean, we review so many like really juice bomb beers. It's fun to like get back and review something like this. There's definitely, it's almost like kind of peachy, but there's tons of citrus in there too. And there's that Mosaic kind of dank blueberry thing. I fucking love Mosaic hops so hard. Again though, just like the Fresh beer that we just reviewed, this isn't like leaping out of the glass. It's not like blowing your mind with the aromatics. It just smells like a really good beer. And you know what? It doesn't have, like, not all beers have to do that, right? You can just drink like solid beers all the time. You don't have to drink these crazy, like, it's fun to open up a beer and as soon as like you crack the can open, it's like flooding the room that you're in. That's not this. But if you were sitting at a bar and someone handed this to you and you just like picked it up and kind of smelled it, you'd be like, wow, this smells really good. Super tropical fruity. But with a good amount, again, like it's a good balance of hops and malt. There's a good amount of like that white bready, crackery, biscuity thing. There's almost like a lemon lime thing in here too. And that might just be like the kind of green, like herbaceous notes that I'm smelling from the hops, but I'm ready to taste this. Cheers. Ralph, thank you, sir. It's funny because you guys never see that side of the garage. My kids were playing Centipede earlier. And it's on the level where it's like bright green. And it's funny because I'm smelling like lemon lime and looking at like neon green. Weird kind of like mind thing. This is super West Coast. I like this a lot. There is just straight pithy like lemon lime, lemon zest, mid palate to finish. It's pithy. It's got a good amount of like that citrusy, acidic bitterness. Tons and tons of just like, it's hop forward. It reminds me of a West Coast beer. It's got tropical fruits up front with like that orange kind of tangerine, sweet, like peach thing. Just think tropical fruity with like mixed in with citrus. But this isn't juicy. This is like that old school kind of vibey IPA. Super dry on the finish, which I really, really like. And at near 7%, it makes you want to keep sipping on it. So this is a beer that could get you in trouble. Very drinkable for 7%, 6.8%, we'll call it 7%. Again, though, it's just standard. Like the mouthfeel is nothing crazy. It's just a really, really easy drinker. if you like West Coast beers, if you grew up drinking, West Coast hoppy beers, like people say, if you were a hop head, you would like this beer. This reminds me of that. There is a good balance of hops and malts. The finish of that, it's got that bready kind of crackery biscuity finish with all those kind of pithy citrus like notes with it. It is. There's this lemon lime thing in here. I gotta look up these hops. I don't know if Idaho 7 gives off like a lemon lime thing, or if Racal or however you say that does. I'm not sure. But there is this killer, like, it almost tastes like alcoholic Sprite. But it's green. It's herbal. It's herbaceous. It's super hoppy. And right on the front of your tongue, you do. It's like this cool citrusy tropical fruit thing. This kind of reminds me a couple years ago when breweries were kind of going not away from it, but like the first beer that I noticed like 2 or 3 years ago was when AleSmith did 394. It was super tropical fruity. It wasn't just like your standard piney, resinous West Coast in your face bitter beer. It had all that kind of resinous like hop matter, but there was like this cool tropical fruit note like when you would drink it, and like at the beginning of that beer. That's what this reminds me of. This is really, really good. I like this a lot. Super easy drinking. This is in that A range. I'm gonna go straight 90 with this one. This is killer. I dig this. If you don't like West Coast style beers, you might not like this beer as much as I do. Even as it's warm, it's got like kind of that grainy, almost cereal thing, like from the malt. Like, it's just a cool balance. I like that. You need beers like this every now and again. They don't all have to be juice bombs. So yeah, that's IRMA from, we have to say all these breweries again. Civil Society, Twisted Trunk, Tequesta, and Copper Point. I think they're all Florida breweries. If you guys have had it, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. Ralph, thanks so much for sending this one, bro. This one was fun. It was a nice little change from all the beers that we reviewed tonight. So I'm out of here, guys. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you very soon. Cheers.
Ever since I was younger, I was into video games.
Somebody like the views so I can bring bad news to all